Breezer, can I call you Joseph today?
Why?
Well, isn't it Joseph? Joseph Patrice Brisebois calling.
Yeah.
Joseph, I never knew this. See, you learn something new every day, Joseph.
That'll be a suspension. That'll be a fine. Nyland going ballistic. He's a freaking madman.
I'm Chris Nyland, and this is the Raw Knuckles Podcast. All right, good stuff. Hey, Patrice, merci beaucoup pour joining le podcast avec Knuckles, puis Tim.
Your French really improved. Wow.
Just parle un peu français. Listen, awesome to have you. Tim, we were actually teammates for a half a season, Patrick's first year when he got called up. And I want to go back, Pat, to growing up here in Quebec. And, you know, I'm sure you're a Montreal Canadiens fan. And what part of the city did you grow up in Montreal?
I grew up in Ville Saint-Michel.
Yeah.
It's the east part of Montreal, Ville Saint-Michel and Rosemont.
Yeah.
Grew up there. It's not, you know what? It's funny because when we think about Montreal, it's a big city, but it's not a lot of players who made the NHL. So, you know, for a little kid of Ville Saint-Michel, like you said, just, you know, try to make his dream. And I work hard. I believe in myself. And, you know, I had a stick in my hand like almost every day. And everybody was thinking, wow, that kid is passionate about hockey. But you know what? That's what I love to do. And, you know, for sure I have a bike. I play baseball. I play football. But hockey was really, really, really my passion. And when I made it, it's funny because I see a lot of people when I was a young kid, and everybody said, "We knew you're gonna make it because you worked so hard for it." And you know what? You make people happy, and that was you know what? It was fun. Honestly, it was. Yeah.
Well, you certainly have the passion for the game, no question about it. And you're very outgoing and got a great personality. Growing up as a Habs fan, and I saw somewhere that you were a Chelios fan. He was your idol, Chris Chelios. Was he really?
Yeah.
Because most kids in Quebec, they grew up, I want to be Guy Lafleur, I want to be the Rocket, you know, and it's funny for a kid from Quebec, his favorite player was Chelios.
Yeah, because you know what? First of all, Guy Lafleur was my idol.
Yeah.
Okay. All-time idol is Guy Lafleur. But I love, you know, in the 70s, I love every players. You know, there was Serge Chevard, there was Larry, there was Guy Lapointe, there was Ken Dryden, there was Steve Shutt. You know, those guys, they were amazing. It was, wow, what a team. But, you know, when I was a little bit older, like 12, 13, 14, I really, really liked Chris Chelios because, you know, it was, first of all, he wore number 24.
Yeah.
I had number 24 in Laval.
Yeah.
And we had the same agent. You know,
Donnie Meehan.
Exactly. At 15 and 16 years old, Donnie Meehan approached me. He says, you know what, I would like to be your agent. And he was the same agent as Stéphane Richer, Claude Lemieux, Chris Chelios. And I always remember, so Donnie says, tonight I want to invite you to the forum, and which player you want to meet after the game. And I said, I would like to meet Chris Chelios. And Chili, after the game, he brought me a stick, and I still have it.
Yeah.
At 16 years old.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
In the first training camp, I almost fought him.
Chili? Oh.
I was Chili, you know what? In the action, you never know what can happen. And great memories.
Yeah, Chili was nasty on the ice. There's no question about that. So you grew up playing AAA for Montreal Bourassa, do well. When did you get drafted by Laval Titan?
That was 86. First of all, I did midget AAA and my second year Bantam.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit exceptional already. And I did major junior at 16 years old. And that year, only 16 years old, they were in the league. So when people ask, he said, when you think you're going to make it to the NHL, at 16 years old, I can say it was, you know what? I said, I think I have a shot. And I really focus on hockey. I know school is really important. My parents say, you don't leave school. I still, going to school, but I really focus on hockey and try to, to make it and put all of the chances on my side.
And were you just like dreaming of getting drafted by the Canadians? Like, how awesome is that?
You know what, Tim? For sure, I was. It's the team of my childhood. But you know what? Just to get drafted, it's an honor. You know what? Yeah. Montreal, it was a bonus, but it would be, I don't know, like I heard the Quebec Nordic, they were really, really interesting. And Buffalo, and I had a good story with that. My draft year in '89, you always, meeting the teams before the draft, and my agent donning me in, and I'm sure, Chris, you remember Boom Boom Maillard.
Oh, yeah, I know Boom. Hey, what was your draft year was 89. Where was the draft?
I was in Minnesota.
Minnesota, okay. So you went to the draft.
Yes. Yeah. I went there, and I was supposed to be first round, and Boom says, kid, you know what, you're going to Hartford. Well, do you know that? I said, don't worry, I know. So,
now, how was he involved with you here? Why was he at the draft, or did he work for Donnie?
It was working for Donnie, for the player in Quebec.
Okay,
so it was in charge of all the players in Quebec. So so that night, called my parents and said, don't worry, you know what, I'm going to Hartford, 10 overall. So that's it. So, all right, good for you. So the day of the draft, so it's time for Hartford. I'm like almost ready to to get up. And the GM back then, I think it was Eddie Johnson.
Yeah.
And he says, Mr. President, timeout. I said, whoops, something's wrong. And you know what? They draft Robert Olick.
Oh, yeah.
Big, good draft, honestly. But Bobby, he had an amazing career. And I heard, I don't know if you guys remember Evan Lendl, the tennis player.
The tennis player, yeah.
Exactly. He was part of the owner of the Hartford Whalers. So he says, you know what? You drafted that kid who was Robert Olick.
Yeah.
So, and after that, you had Buffalo, so many defensemen in the first round. And when I look now, they didn't do good. All the defense.
It's crazy, right?
The only defenseman, guys, who had the better stats than me that year, you know who it is? The fifth round by Detroit.
Kisa.
Niklas Lindstrom. Right?
Oh, Nicholas Lindstrom. It's crazy. Is that crazy?
It's crazy, yeah.
Because
it is crazy.
Hey, Tim and Brisebois, when you look at this draft, and again, you were picked 30th in the draft, okay, by the Habs. Now, I look at before you, the defensemen. Listen to these names, Tim. Adam Bennett. Hello. Doug Smolik. Hello. Jason Herder. Hello. Jason Marshall. Hello. Kevin Haller. He did play.
He won the Stanley Cup with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Jason Souls. Jamie Hewitt. He played a bit.
Yeah.
But not close to the career that you had. Adam Foote was before you.
Had a beautiful career. Yeah.
Yeah. There was like two guys out of the 10. There was like 10 defensemen drafted before you, and like two of them made it. It's unbelievable. So you get picked by the Habs. Now, and everybody always says this, and I know how difficult it is for a Quebec kid to come here and play in front of the home crowd. It is not easy. The pressure, and and everybody comes here with the intent, I'll be able to deal with it. I look at Jonathan Drouin when he came. They asked him, how are you going to deal with, being a local kid and playing here? He said, I'll be all right with it. And when he said that, I'm there, hold back a bit. I remember Doug Wickenheiser, right, when he came here. He came here, an English kid, but he was picked over a guy that everybody wanted, and that was Denny Savard. And boy, did Doug Wickenheiser ever have a tough time here. That pressure, explain that pressure of being a Quebecois and playing for the hometown team.
It's not, Chris, it's not easy. That's for sure. But when I got drafted, I was so happy. I was a dream come true.
Yeah.
Just that first day, and, they give you your jersey. I'm like, I'm part of the Montreal Canadian hockey organization. It's a dream. It's every kid's dream. And you know what? We're gonna deal with the pressure after. But that day, I was so happy. I said, "Wow, that's the bless." Honestly, I was thrilled. I was first training camp. 18 years old. That's another good story. My first training camp, 18 years old, showing up at the Forum. I'm nervous, that's for sure. And I saw my name, and my number is, which number, Chris? And Tim?
No.
Number 19.
Oh.
You're talking about pressure, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Larry Robinson.
Oh.
So did the practice, for 18 years old, 175 pounds. I did okay.
Yeah.
And all the media around me says, "Oh, how you feel? Number 19, Larry." I'm like, I didn't ask for it. That's for sure. It's an honor. I'm gonna try to do my best with it. And you know what? The next day, 43. So the last one to wear number 19 with Montreal Canadiens.
That's awesome. It's funny. Hey, listen, I got called up. They gave me number 30. Okay, so I just thought I was.
When I went to training
down.
camp, it was like 65. I was like, I'm going down.
That's it. Tim, over 50.
You're done.
So
There's no chance.
Okay, I'm still good. And after that practice, face to face with Jean Béliveau.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a new kid. I shake my hands. You know what? Welcome. Work hard. You know what? It's like, wow. So great memories, guys. That was Montreal and the first training camp. And I remember it was a lot of fighting. Back then, Pat Burns was the coach.
Right.
And you know what Pat mentioned that year? It says, I have one room for one tough guy. Oh boy. The Roberts, Martins, Fletcher, they on the bench, not even on the ice. I'm like, I'm like, what's going on? I was tough. And Burnsy says, okay, it's enough. No more fighting. We're gonna keep that for the preseason game. And but it was, and my first, and I didn't play any exhibition game that first year. But that second year, my first pro game against Alfred Whalers, you know how many fights that game? 21 fights.
No.
Wow. 21.
You know what? It's kid. Welcome in the league. You want to make it? You have to be tough. Not only talented, you have to be tough. You have to show you want to. You play against Boston, Hartford, Buffalo, Toronto, Philadelphia. They were a tough team to play against. The third line, the fourth line, they were just guys. They want to hurt you. They want to, and you know what? It's even myself. I wasn't a fighter, but you have to show to your teammates. You know what? If that happened, I know how to defend myself. And I remember Lyle the line, Chris. Lyle the line. Got a fight against that big Indian guy, Daniel.
Okay.
Big. I don't know if you remember that guy.
Yeah, I do.
Not even a minute in the game. Drop the glove. Let's go. And bang, bang. And Udi get knocked out.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
He wake up and, okay, go to the penalty bench. He went out to the penalty bench. What he did?
He went right after him again. Let's go.
He knocked them out. You see, that's like, that's hockey, man. Old-time hockey.
Yeah, that has to be an eye-opener for an 18-year-old kid. And again, listen, when you came in, Pat, again, right, you were the best defenseman in the queue, right? You were voted. You got the Emile Bouchard trophy, which incredible. But you were also the best defenseman in Canadian hockey across the board, across the country. So with that comes high expectation, right? One, just because you're from Quebec. One. Two, being the best defenseman in Canadian Hockey League, there's pressure with that. So people expect you to come in and be Bobby Orr right away. And did you feel that pressure from them, the expectation from the fan base, the crowds? Bryce, you played in what, 3 Memorial Cup?
3 Memorial Cup.
Did you win how many? You didn't win one, but you played in 3, right? That's unbelievable.
And two gold medal.
Yeah, in the World Junior.
World Junior. Yeah. And I have another good question for you.
Go.
At 16 years old, my first year in the queue, I got invited to the Canadian
World
team.
Junior?
Yeah, at 16 years old. I was the second guy to do that at 16 years old. Who was the first?
Sydney. No, Wayne?
Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
Wow.
Yeah,
At 16.
At 16. And after that, you got Eric Landros, Martin Lapointe. That was so many at 16 years old. But you're right, Chris. I was a lot of pressure, but you know what? I like pressure.
Yeah.
I like pressure. I like, you know what? When the game's on the line, I want to be the player who try to make the difference.
Yeah.
And every time, you know what? Even junior or NHL, example, we're playing against Boston. Even if I was my first year, my second year pro, I'm like, Ray Bourque, I have to be better than Ray Bourque. If we want to won that game, I have to be better than Ray Bourque. That was me
putting that pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's I have to say that it was hard to beat Ray Bourque. But that was the way I was approached the game. I always tried to do my best, and I said if I can be better, I think we have a pretty good chance to win that hockey game. So I was, the pressure, Chris and Tim. Since at home and Pee Wee, we had pressure. We had big tournament. We know that you have to the difference if you want to win, and it's Pee Wee, Bantam, Midget, Junior. It's the same thing. It's a game, and you just try to do your best, and that's it. That was pressure. Yeah, pressure. It's hard. Pressure.
What about like family and friends? Were you just getting hounded for tickets every game, or like give me a tour of the locker room? Like that had to be like annoying, no?
Right.
That's Montreal.
Yeah.
But you know what, Tim? That's okay.
Yeah.
I try. Unfortunately, I can't please everybody every game. But family first, and friends, and after that, friends. But I love to please people. I prefer to give than receive. That's the way I am, and Montreal is special for sure. The people, the people, they want to take picture and autograph, and can you sign my jersey? Can you sign my stick? Can I have a stick of Guy Carbonneau or Patrick Roy, or back then, when I start, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try, but you don't want to. That be that pain in the ass says, hey, Patrick, can I have a stick, Carbo, or Denis Savard, or, or Chris, or, it's stuff like that. It's, you have to be, reserve, and, that's my teammates. I'm not a group.
Are you ready to take your love for hockey to the next level? Join the Fight Club Raw Knuckles exclusive Patreon to unlock amazing perks like ad-free episodes, bonus interviews, and even a chance to win a game day experience with me in the Habs Cave. Don't miss out on this ultimate hockey experience. Well, Breezer and I, we played together. His first year, I ended up coming back to Montreal, and that year in the playoffs, we beat Hartford. Then we lost in 7 games, and then we lost to Boston in the second round. And then I retired, and you go on into your second season, and you win a Stanley Cup in your second season. It was incredible. Talk to us about that year overall of development, because Pat Burns left. Jacques Demers come in. How cool was that for you when Demers come in? Did you feel in a better situation with Demers than you did with Pat Burns?
Big time. I have to say, I didn't really enjoy my first full year.
Yeah.
Burnsy was a tough coach, a really, really tough on kids.
Yeah.
On me, on Gilbert Dion, Di Pietro. You know what? Not once that Pat Burns said, "Kids, you're doing good." Not once. And you know what? It's hard because as a young kid, you want to know, do I doing good? I don't know. You know, you just show up every practice and play every game and with Burnsy it was the opposite. It was like, your job is not secure. And it was always the fear. So it was not even a good morning, no hello, no. It was like, you know what? I was like, it was hard. But that was Burnsy.
Yeah.
And that's the way he was, and I respect that. But the change with Jacques Demers, I was completely the opposite.
Yeah.
Jacques, we all know Jacques. Jacques was like a second dad for me. No, it take time to talk to you, kid. You can't do that. You wanna, take care of yourself, eat well. I need you. I know you can give me more. I know, So you feel like, the coach wants the best of me. So you're ready to give him more because you know what? You feel the love. And all the players, guys, what they want? They want the love.
Yeah.
They want to be appreciated. If you're a superstar, if you're a third line, a 7th defenseman, you know what? I know it's your job, but you know what? You give everything for that team and for that coach because you know what? It's easier to change the coach than 20 players. And when it's time to say, you know what? No, that coach, no, it doesn't respect the players. So the player says, you know what? You're gonna lose your job, and that's it. We're gonna have another one.
Tim,
Simple.
did you have that kind of coach at all?
No,
Like
all my
Burnsy?
coaches were real friendly. No, I had Mike Keenan, so he was
Oh,
very.
that's right. You had Keenan in.
That's
Yeah.
another one, Tim.
Yeah.
There you go. That's right.
I had a good. You're a good.
You're just always kind of like walking on eggshells. Like I don't know if and it definitely, like you said, you respected it. That's just who he was, but it definitely didn't make it like fun.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's
not saying
funny.
it should be fun, but you know what I mean. It was just like it was like it caused more of like a problem. Like he would be in the way of me thinking about whatever it was, like what I need to do for the team. It'd be like this guy. I got to deal with this guy first, But that's how he was.
Yeah, it's tough.
Guys, I think Burnsy like the tough players. I'm sure you love Shane. He loves you. He loves he was a tough coach, but you love certain kind of player like. Maybe I was really skilled player. I said, nah, I was not.
No, you're right. But I think Burnsy, he was tougher on the young guys, right? And like you said, young guys, it's important to, like you said, it's nice to get some positive affirmation from the coach, right? Sometimes some confidence, kind of, accept me. And when you don't, you're always on edge around that coach. I remember I had it with Bob Berry. I know all them guys with 4 cups in a row, right? In the 70s, what you watched as a kid, Scotty Bowman. They didn't fucking talk to you. It's like, do this, do that. That's it. You don't do it, you're gone. See you later. So that gradually started to change. And I'll just tell you the difference with Pat Burns and you and Pat Burns and me. Here I am, a veteran, and I knew Pat before I left when I got traded to New York. And when I came back, he was near the end anyway here, right? It was his last year. And Serge brought me back, which I'm so grateful for today. because I retired a Montreal Canadian because my heart and my passion is with this organization. And when I came back, Big Serge told me, I want you to be a positive influence on the young player. I don't want you in the bar all the time. And I'm telling you, you're going to live in the same building with Pat Burns. And he's going to keep an eye on you. So, sure enough, remember we had to take the test at the end of the year? The fitness test? The night before, the afternoon after practice, Pat Burns, he said, hey, Chris, let's go for dinner tonight. I'm there, okay, whatever. We go. I go for dinner. He's got 2 broads there, right? We're having dinner. Hey, how you doing? After dinner, we go to La Pasha Club till 4 o'clock in the morning. And I got to do the test the next day. And I'm telling him all night, and Pat, I got to do it. I don't give a fuck about the test. I know what you can do. I don't care. I get up I was throwing up, skating a mile. I felt terrible. But that's the difference, right? I had been around for a while, and and I love Burnsy, but he was near the end, right?
Good story with Burnsy.
Yeah.
So that year, Saturday night for sure we're playing at the Forum, but we play Sunday night too against Detroit. So we won Saturday. So my 2 brothers on Sunday says, hey, if you guys won the game, are we going to Ship Parade? Like, first of all, let's win the game and we'll see after. And we won the game, but you know what? Everybody went out. Patrick White, you, Carbo, Dennis Carr. So everybody's there. So I said to my brother, team party. Everybody have a few beers at Chipare. So now my 2 brothers, they're with you, and they feel like king, like, we're party comedians, So who show up at Chipare at, I don't know, 11:30, 11:45? Pat Burns. So Savvy came to me and says, Breezer, you know what? You should finish your beer and go home. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And when you finish, pass by the coach and say hello. I'm like, all good, Savvy. So going, I finished my beer. So brothers, let's go. We're leaving. Bye, coach. See you, kid. The next day, we're playing only the Wednesday in Quebec. So the next day, it's optional. I'm there. So do my optional. So the Tuesday, the practice, I'm all by myself in the dressing room, and I look, and I'm so proud. I'm taping my stick, and Burnsy passed by, says, "You're there, you? Stay there." I'm like, he's talking to me. There's nobody here. So we come back. He says, "Follow me." So follow him. Going there. He says, "Sit down." So I sit down in his office, and he start yelling at me. What the fuck you are doing at Ship Parade with that thing you are not? And he gave me shit. I'm like, what's going on? I'm with the team. Like, you know what? I'm still part of the team. I told John Leclerc, stop going out. You know what? He didn't listen to me. He's fucking going down. And if you don't, I don't give a fuck. If Savard like you, you know what? It's my team. And you know what? You're going to go down. Are we clear? Yes, coach. That's it. It took me like, a month or 2 to go out after.
Breezer, that was the same time. And I remember that day. He came walking in and he stood there. We were on the couch. And John Leclerc was right next to me. And he said to me, he said, fuck, I got to get out of here. And I said, listen, sit right there. I said, don't fucking leave. If you get up now and leave, he's going to think you're the biggest pussy. The coach come on, going to run out. He's going to not think good of you. So I said, just sit there. So he sat there, and we sent the beer over to me, drank the beer. He left. The next day, he got sent down, John Leclerc. But he was going to send him down anyway. So I told him, don't get up and run because he's going to fucking... And afterward, John, he looked at me, fuck. I should have left. I said, it didn't make a difference if you fucking left or it didn't make a difference. We had John on. We talk about this story, Breezer. But I didn't know he brought you in the room.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, I just learned that. That is funny.
Oh, boy. You know,
But what are you gonna do? Oh, the whole team is there, right? You gotta
Yeah.
understand that, right?
you know what, Chris? And Tim, that was not fair.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you know what? It's 11:30. It's not like I went to L'Action after, but you know what?
Yeah. Till 4.
Oh,
So,
boy.
yeah, God, that was so funny. Listen, so Breeza, I gotta. Now I don't know the whole story on this. Now your time in Montreal with Jacques Demers, you win the Stanley Cup. It's unbelievable that season you guys had. The playoffs. How many overtime games was 7? 11 overtime games.
Wow.
They won.
The last 10. Yeah.
That is unbelievable. And that whole game with the stick in Montreal. And what's the story on the stick? Did they check it before the game? Did you know that? Or what was that?
No.
You mean you didn't have Doc check it?
I was a young kid, and you know what? I was just focusing on my game. So
Yeah,
I let
right.
go and those guys, you know what, and the trainers. But that's why the '93 Stanley Cup. That's the way we want it. It's really special.
Yeah.
Because you know what? When we started the playoff, Chris and Tim, we were not the best team in the East.
Yeah.
Quebec, Boston, and Pittsburgh with Mario Lemieux was.
Yeah.
They wanted the last two. So, you know what? We always say, you know what, one series at a time. But the first series was Quebec. And right away, if you don't beat Quebec, that's going to be a long summer. And
Yeah.
you know it, Chris. So,
Yeah.
and you know what? We lost the first 2 games in Quebec, but we played well. We played well. And I remember Jacques Demers again, guys, we win. We just need to win the next game. And we're back in the series. And you know what? We're never going to look back. And Jacques was so positive. It was sick. He can sell a fridge to an Eskimo. No,
Yeah.
he was that
Yeah.
kind of guy. And we won that game in overtime. Vinny Danfou scored, and we won the second game. And after that, Extall was not there anymore, and we won 4 in a row. And we never. And after that, Chris and Tim, we never. More the playoff were going, more our team and our system was on point.
Yeah.
Everybody know his role. Everybody know what. We don't care who's going to be that star or that hero that night. And you know, if you look,
You only lost 4 games in the whole playoffs. You lost 2 to Quebec, 1 to the Islanders, and 1 to LA. That's unbelievable.
Patrick was on mission.
Yeah.
And I know he doesn't like it when I say it, but I'm gonna say it again.
Say it.
When a goalie tell you, give me 1 goal and we're gonna win.
Yeah. Right?
He say it. I'm telling you guys, he say it. I'm not afraid to say it. And Patrick is so like, that's the way he was in that playoff. He was so focused. He was, you know, he really, really want to win. And, you know, as a defenseman, like, we have the best goalie. And I have to tell you guys, every time we're going in overtime, I was happy because I knew we're going to win.
Yeah, you're confident. You had that
Yeah.
confidence as a group, right?
It was like, you know what, any team, you know what, we know Patrice, with Patrick, it's impossible. You're going to get scored. And that brings that confidence, you know, we're playing our game, we're winning for mistakes, and you know what, bang. And that's what happened every game. And people, you know, or the media say, it's like the roulette, you know, black. You know, red, one day it's going to be red. But you know what? Never in my mind. I says, no, never. I said, you know what? Every time we're going to overtime, we're sure we're going to win the game.
Yeah, it was incredible when you think of that. You know, I look at Patrick, his rookie year in '86, you know, when we had him in there, like he come in on the scene, it was unbelievable. Like we beat Boston 3 straight, then 4-3 against Hartford, but we went into overtime And Pepe Lemieux finished it there, but he was unbelievable in the playoffs. We had a team that was so defensively structured. He had a lot of help. There's no question about it, but he was always there for the big save. And to win a Stanley Cup in his rookie year, man, that kid was so cool in the net. No, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
When you have a goalie like that, you know. Get into the action with Fight Club, Raw Knuckles' new exclusive Patreon. From ad-free episodes to uncensored content and discounts on merch, there's something for every hockey fan. Join the Fight Club today.
We can't talk about Patrick for a long time because, you know, for me, Patrick was a teammate, but he was an idol.
Yeah.
And even in practice, his work ethic.
Yeah.
I remember how many stick he broke because he want to stop every puck in practice. So that's, you know what, and that means every day, every day and every game, he want to make a difference, and that's why he was the best. And guys, when Patrick got traded, it really affected me.
Yeah.
Really affected me. I says
a lot of people, right?
How can we trade a best player? You know, I was still young, but I know hockey's business, but you know what? You can't trade your best player. It's our heart and soul in our team, and you know what? Patrick was, you know, on my left, and you know what? And after that, like, it's not there anymore. Like,
well, you know,
unreal.
Come on, you look back at that time, right? When you look at Serge, general manager, Mr. Corey, you know, I truly believe if Serge is still there, that never happens.
No, for sure.
Never happens.
Never.
And I'm not talking bad about Mr. Corey or anything, but Mr. Corey at the time, I believe he really thought he didn't need a guy like Serge to be there. He thought Serge was so good at, you know what Serge was the best at? Managing people. He knows how to manage people. He knows how to manage situations. He's a great communicator.
Yeah.
And that would have never happened. But
and bring the respect.
Yeah.
Respect is a big part in that hockey community. You know, and when you have the respect, that's how
and he had it instantly. Big Serge. So you win that Stanley Cup, man. You must think, oh, I'm going to win a bunch of these, right?
Or you thought, like, I could retire. like, how awesome was that?
Right?
I have to say I had a really good summer that year.
Yeah.
Very good summer. I had a lot of fun. You know, it's special. Because I have to tell you, you know, when you guys won in 86, I didn't tell my mom, but I skipped school.
Yeah.
To see the parade, and it was for me, like, you know, see the players, like, it was sick. And a few years after, it's me.
Right.
Cheering for me.
That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. Yeah.
And in Montreal, you know, I got goosebumps. It's, you know what? You dream about those things, you know what, as a kid, you know what, get drafted, play in NHL, but won the Stanley Cup, it's wow, in Montreal.
Yeah, like Pat, I think the same thing. When a kid in Boston, when they won in 72, right, I went to parade, and I remember looking up at the City Hall, Bobby Orr, Derek Sanderson, they're all up there. I'm there, I want to do this one day. I want to be in the NHL one day. Now, you know, I being a kid from Boston, and the hockey was a little different down there than it was up here, right? You know, you grow up, you got ice all the time. You know, we had indoor ice. That's it. We couldn't skate outdoors all the time. It never froze all the time, right? So a little bit different, but still that feeling of I hated the Canadians. You obviously love them, and you end up here.
I hate Boston.
Right? I hated them. And now, I mean, geez, it's unbelievable what happened to me. It's just when I think of it. But so that Stanley Cup, like when we won in 86, I thought, geez, we'll get back here. We'll win a couple, right? Man, what a rude awakening that was. It's so difficult to win that trophy. You win it right there, actually your second season. Then you go on, you become entrenched. You did a lot of community work here, a lot of stuff outside the game. You're certainly passionate about the game. You're a passionate guy. You're outgoing. You like to have fun. Now, there came to a point where this fan base kind of turned on you, didn't they?
Yeah, the thing is, you know what?
And let's talk about that, because I don't know where that came from, because I was living at home at the time. I was back in Boston, and I wasn't watching a whole lot of hockey, but I know this fan base started booing you. What was that all about?
Well, first of all, I have to say, when the Stanley Cup, it was dream come true, and it's maybe my biggest disappointing that I didn't win another.
Disappointment.
I was 22 years old, 2 gold medal, like you said, best defenseman in Canada, Stanley Cup. I'm like, I'm a winner. I'm going to win all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like the 70s team, and you know what? I'm going to make that team win. And for all those years, I never had a chance to go to win another one. A few times we had good teams, but not enough to win. But to come back, with the booing is it was when you're talking about pressure, to play in Montreal, and it's one thing if the team's not winning. It's another thing if yourself you're not playing well, because the fans, they're gonna let you know, and the media. But that being said, my dreams, as a Montreal Canadian, I want to play all my career as a Montreal Canadian.
Yeah.
Like a Patrice Brisebois, Jean Bilvaux, Henri Richard, Yvan Cournoyer. That was a dream, and that's what I want to do. Because it's too many times players from Quebec, they play in Montreal. If they have a little chance to make more money, they go somewhere else. And, I'm not judging. It's, hockey career is short. If you can make more money, guys,
great.
Go. For me, it was really important to play all my career in Montreal. So in 2002, was my last year of my contract. So I became a free agent at the end of the year. And Donnie Meehan Andre Savard, who was the GM back then, start negotiate a contract. And they offered me a 4-year, $17 million contract. I'm telling you guys, if I was waiting at the end of the year, it says, you know what, thank you very much, I'm going to wait. I will sign maybe $1 million more with another team. Right defenseman, I was 31 years old, 31, 32. You know what? I can get a lot of money. But money was not an issue. I said, you know what? They want me. They want to keep going with me. It's an honor to play for the Montreal Canadiens. This is my town. This is my team. I said to Donnie, make it happen. I want to sign you. So I signed 17 million, the biggest contract in the Montreal Canadiens history. A little French kid who grew up in Ville Saint-Michel. You know what? I didn't steal the money. They give it to me. If they give it to me, I think I deserve it. So a few days after, Jack Todd, I have to name it because it starts with Jack Todd. I hated to mention his name because
who is it, Patrick?
Jack Todd from the Gazette.
Oh, Jack Todd. Oh, yeah. Shit disturber.
He wrote an article in the Gazette. 17 million wasted.
Yeah.
And it started from there.
Yeah.
The game after, I was touching the puck, the booing and stuff like that, and you know what? That man doesn't know. And now I can't talk about it. But before it was hard. He didn't know how much it hurt me.
Yeah.
my family,
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
and you know what? It's just a little kid who grew up in Ville Saint Michel, make it to his dream. You know what? Money, it's money, okay. And but the thing is, instead, he said, "Wow, he's a real player.
Yeah.
You know, he's a real Montreal Canadian. He want to stay here. He want."
Yeah. He wants to be here. He doesn't want to leave.
Like you said, back to the community. I did everything. Chris and Tim, I did everything for their organization, and I did so many things people doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't do things because you want people to know. You do it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And it really, 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 really hurt me. I have to say, not he fucked me up, but sometimes he says, why, you know what, you always put yourself in perspective and say, but why? Why people say things like that? And after that, I was walking, on sidewalk and people say, you suck, Brisebois, this. I was, you know what? I have death threats. I had brick in my house. I had eggs. I had everything. It was not easy, guys.
Tim.
And people say, he's complaining. He's making fun of me.
Yeah, that's all they see is the money. Yeah, that's all they see is the money. And they don't take into account how a person can be affected by that. But here's what I like. Now, someone came in here and took over a job. And they were asked a question. And your general manager came to your protection, and it was unbelievable. Here's what Bob Gainey said when this happened. All the booing was happening with Patrick. So yeah, you get shit on by that guy, and Bob come out in the newspaper and said, and this is a huge statement for this town, for the GM to say it. He said, we don't need those people. We don't want those people. They're jealous people, yellow people. I think they're a bunch of gutless bastards, to be honest. I appreciate, and our message to them is to stay away. We don't need you. Now, that's pretty awesome for your general manager. Now, the new general manager, Bob Gainey, to come out and defend him. That must have hit you right here when he said that, no?
Chris, big time. I didn't expect that. I know Bob really, really liked me, but what he says, I was like, I could not believe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was not André Savard before it was.
Yeah, right.
That's for sure. And I will always be grateful.
Yeah, that's good.
But I have to say, after that, no more.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It just stopped it?
It stopped right there.
Wow.
And I had a very good season that year.
See, I didn't know that. Calling all hockey lovers. Upgrade your podcast experience by becoming an enforcer. Gain access to the greatest hockey doc ever, The Last Gladiators. And don't settle for ordinary. Join the Fight Club over on Patreon today. Respectable last 2 seasons, by the way. And to reach the 1,000 game mark, that's incredible. Like 18-year career. You had a awesome career, Pat, when I look back on it, and again, I know you played 18 years and all that, but really in researching and looking at your history with the NHL, and you had an incredible career. And to get a silver stick to play 1,000 games, I wanted to play 1,000 games, Pat.
Yeah, I was one of my goals, Chris, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
It showed the love of the game.
Yeah.
It's not about money, like I said. Money, it's fun, but you know what? It's the passion for the game, and reaching that 1,000 game. It really, sometimes when I think about my career, I can't. Sometimes it can be better for sure. Point wise, because junior I was scoring 15, 20 goals a year, and at all-star team, and individual trophy, but NHL that never happened. But I can't be mad of that. I can't, I can't be disappointed because to play 18 years, it's something amazing. And you know what? They kicked me out because I want even you know what? I retired after 18 years, but I knew inside of me I had at least one more year. And I thought, I retired not on my term.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to accept that, okay, it's over. It's so, your dream, it's over. That's it. And because I really thought I have another year in me.
It's funny.
Be fair with yourself, huh, Chris?
A lot of guys don't retire on their terms. It's really hard to, right?
The thing is, that's the year we get kicked out by Boston in 4.
Yeah.
And they changed everybody. Kovalev, Corvu, Bouillon, Dandonneau, myself. I think like 10 players.
Yeah.
And that's the year they signed Gianta, Camilleri. They trade for Gomez. Yeah. So they changed the team around with Pierre Gauthier and Jacques Martin. So I really thought, like, you know what? I know my role. I know I'm not going to play every game. I'm good with the kids. I know. But that didn't happen. And like you, Chris, I really want to retire as a Montreal Canadian. And because when Donnie announced me, says the Canadian did not, because Pierre Gauthier never called me because I won't say it
because Pierre Gauthier is Pierre Gauthier.
So Donnie told me, said they're not going to sign you for another year. So I was mad, and he says, "Don't worry, I'm going to find you another team." And I think about it, moving the family for a year, this, that.
Yeah.
I said, you know what, Donnie, I think I'm done. And another good story. So that year, the Canadian, they start in Buffalo. Ryan O'Byrne got hurt. Second game, Markov got hurt in Toronto. So two defensemen out. So again, in Tremblant, just watched the game. I'm like, wow, they're in trouble. Phone ring, Donnie Mayen, 10:30 at night. Hi, Vincent, how are you? I'm good, thank you. So, did you watch the game? Yeah, I watched the game. Oh, Marquis, it's bad. You remember he cut his talon d'Achille? So anyway, so he
ACL.
Says, are you in good shape? Not game shape, but I'm still in good shape. He says, just saw Pierre Gauthier. He says, if they offer you a contract, you will come back? I'm like, what? They want to offer me a contract. I'm like, they think about it. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, fuck, yeah, let's go, man.
Yeah.
So my wife back then said, so what do you want? He said, Montreal want to offer me a contract. And she said, fuck them. They should see you before us. And now they're in trouble. And I'm like, maybe you're right. And I said to Donnie, you know what, forget it.
Forget it.
A month after, Donnie called me back. Those are in good shape. I'm like, all right. You want to go play in the KHL? KHL? I'm like,
shit.
$2 million a year. Tax free. I'm like, wow, for what? 3-4 months? I'm like, why not? Let's go. So talk to the wife. I said, are you crazy? You're going to get killed over there. And then I'm like, okay, forget it, Donnie. I'm not going.
So, Pat, you again, awesome career. You got the silver stick, 1,000 games. You won a Stanley Cup. You retired with the team you love the most, like me. And 2 of us were named ambassadors last year. It's incredible for me, the kid from Boston here in Montreal, to be an ambassador with us. It's like, honestly, one of the great thrills of my life, to be honest with you. And it's great to be part of that. But I got to ask you, if you were 10 years old again and you could take your pick of playing hockey or getting in a go-kart and training to become a Formula One driver, what would you do today?
I think I will shock a lot of people. I think I'm going to go racing.
And listen, I know how much you actually got me more interested in racing when you were doing it? And I'm like, shit, what is it about? And I started to watch it. I always question about it. How did you get? Was it because of the Villeneuve brothers that you got involved in racing in Quebec, right?
Yeah. Gilles Villeneuve, when I was a young kid, he was my dad's idol, and unfortunately he passed away. But as you know, as a crash in the crash.
Yeah.
But, and after that, when Jacques was in the Formula One, I was really good friend with Jacques. But you know what, Chris and Tim, I always loved cars. I never had a boat. I never take drug. I'm not a gambler. I love cars. It was my passion. And 2 weeks after I won the Stanley Cup in '93, I bought my first Porsche, 911. I was 22 years old, and everybody said, "You're too young to drive a Porsche." Why not? That's what I love. Everybody was like, "Oh, this, that." No. Buy myself a nice car. I love cars. And when in 2000, I bought my first race car. But I have to say, when I bought my first Porsche in '93, I did a few Jim Russell course in Montreal.
Yeah.
And with the PCA Porsche Club to learn how to drive those cars, because I have to say, I don't know, 75, maybe 80% of people, they buy those cars, Porsche, Ferrari, Lambo, McLaren, they don't know the potential of the car.
Yeah. So
it's very important to know what you have in your hand.
Yeah.
So, every year I was doing a few sessions at Tremblant, and when I make a little bit more money, I bought my first race car. And it was, what? And people ask me why you like more the race or the hockey. Hockey is going to be my first passion, but racing is one thing. The difference is a rink, it's 200 by 75, right?
Yeah.
You play in Florida, you're playing in LA, you're playing in Nashville, it's all the same rink.
Yeah.
Perfect. In racing, it's not that. Every week, every weekend, it's a different track, a different challenge. So one day is going to be dry. Okay, setup wise of the car, your braking zone, your apex, lane, this, that, carry more speed there. Okay, the next day, it rained. Completely different, another challenge. It's guys, it's racing, it's really, and I don't want to say, okay, it's not dangerous, because you never know what can happen. And but racing, it's so you need. I don't want to be rude, but you need talent. You need to feel the car. But who make the difference? It's right here. Sometimes you need
balls.
Yeah, balls. Yes.
Yeah.
But and you made a good point, Pat. You went up and you learned that car on a track. And I'll go back, and when you say that, it's good, because I think back to Pelle Lindbergh in Philadelphia. He bought a Porsche, right? And he ended up, geez, it's terrible. He ended up losing his life in a car accident. And I don't know all the circumstances, but those cars, if you don't really know them, the speed of them, and you can't respect that speed, man, bad things could happen. So yeah. So
do I tell another story?
Yeah.
Bought my first Porsche. So I went to, with a few friends, you go out and go back home, get caught by the police.
Driving too fast.
Yeah, 180 on a 70 zone. I was on Metropolitan. So I was 1, 2, 3 cops around me. So, all right, give me the ticket. I'm two minutes away.
No fans? There were any fans there?
No,
the cops?
Give me the tickets and okay, bye. All right. So the next day I wake up. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe an hour after, Jacques Demers called me. Says, mon petit bruiser, are you close to the forum? I'm like, yeah, 10 minutes. Coach, what's going on? I said, I would like to see you. In the summer. I don't, no clue for what. So show up at the forum. Say, hey, coach, what's up, kid? How's your summer? How's the workout? I'm like, everything's good. He says, do you know why I call you to come to see me? I'm like, coach, I have no clue. He said, what you did last night? I did. I went out and, I went for dinner, and get pulled over. I'm like, whoop. Oh, this
Word travels fast.
Yeah.
So he says, Patrice, he says, Brisebois, he says, it's okay, you have a Porsche, you love cars, but I don't want you to get killed. I'm like, yeah, you're right, coach. I'm going to slow down. And he said, how did you know that? And he says, I was Serge's friend who was working at the Sûreté du Québec police department. Call Serge, you say, tell your kid to slow down. So that's how they find out. So Serge was connected.
Tim, you play here, you think you can get away with shit? Can't get away with anything. They find out somehow.
You can't go 180 miles an hour in a 70 mile an hour. That's shocker. You can't get away with that? Well, it's amazing. No, I know. That's
word travels. It's unbelievable. So, that passion for racing, to see that. And honestly, I'm a new fan, and it's unbelievable. Like I watched the Netflix series, and it really explained a lot more to me because I didn't understand the teams and how they work together and against each other or whatever. I didn't understand any of that. And now I've become so educated in it for that sport. So something that really never, I didn't think much of, they go around, whatever. But it's more exciting when you understand it, right?
Yeah, they did an awesome job. Drive to Survive, they did their awesome job to be behind the door and show the people it's not easy. It's political. It's big money involved, and it's
big money.
So, it's really, really, really well done.
Yeah, it's incredible, the money and the whole thing. It's just really, and you look at. You look like Daniel Ricciardo right now. He's finished, huh? He's still a young kid. He's still pretty young, right?
Day 22 on the grid. And if you're not performing,
see you later. You're gone. There's somebody waiting, right?
Yeah.
Come on, same as hockey, right? Somebody always looking to take your job.
Always.
That is so cool. Patrick, Patrice, Joseph, Breezer, this has been awesome having you. So now your life, certainly love the racing, play some alumni stuff. We do stuff with the ambassadorship. Are you getting married anytime soon?
No.
You and Nadia, are you gonna stay? Are you gonna stay boyfriend and girlfriend? Or are you getting married anytime soon?
We kind of we have a deal. We are engaged, but we're not gonna get married.
Well,
we did it once, and but I love her so much. So I met a really, really good girl. It's already
she's awesome, girl.
More than eight years, and a great family. So I'm where I am right now, Chris and Tim. I'm very, very happy. My girls, I have two girls. They're 24 and 21. They're awesome. Polite, respectful, working hard, and I can't ask for more. Honestly,
good for you. That's good. You're in a good place.
The most important thing is to be healthy, but to be in love, it's nice too.
Yeah, Breezer. I've been together with Jamie for 15 years. We're engaged. 15 years we were together. We're engaged. We did the same. We're not going to get married. And then this year we've said, you know what? I think it's safe to say we're going to be together till the end. So let's get married. And we did. So,
but you know what? Good for you, Chris.
Yeah, it's awesome. I said I'd never get married again, but I did.
Never. But you know what? For now, I give her a beautiful ring. Say, you're mine.
Yeah.
But the wedding, you know, you can't do party without a wedding.
Brisa, hey, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup pour
Thank you.
interview. It was awesome. Great to have you on here. You're a good man and certainly had a wonderful NHL career. You're a true Montreal Canadian, and so happy for you. I'm happy you're in a good place.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah,
Chris.
thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. Pat, I told you about him, basically. Very outgoing, very talkative. It was just so
he
cool
was great.
to hear him.
Yeah, he told some good stories, and he seemed like he would be an awesome teammate too, as well, right? So
Right.
it was great.
Yeah, he was. And that lightning rod, again, best player in the queue, defenseman, best player in hockey, in Canadian Hockey League when he was playing junior, wins 2 gold medals in the World Junior. Really, the expectation level was up here with him big time. And then, he goes on, wins the cup. Then he runs into some of that, the Boo Bird stuff. And it's incredible what Bob Gainey did, come out and saying it. He took over as general manager. And when they were doing all that booing, I remember. And
so he would just touch the puck and it was just boo. Like that was.
Yeah, they got to that point with him, which when you talk about a local kid, I remember Martin Lapointe. He was a free agent. He was leaving Detroit, I think. And his options were the Canadiens and the Bruins. And he ended up going to Boston. He signed a 5-year deal with Boston. And they had asked him, why? He said, no way, I'm not going to Montreal. Like he didn't want, he's here now. He works in the organization. Yeah. But when he was a player, he wanted no part of it. And it does come with a lot of pressure. Like I had no pressure when I came here, right? No. Like who knew me? No one knew me. I remember coming in. And then when I established myself when I was here, it's like I couldn't do anything wrong. I could have come out in the ice bare ass and people would have been, hey, way to go, Knuckles. I could have played nude and they would have been clapping, I think. But yeah, people were really good to me here. And it's so different when you're Québécois Français and you come in here and the expectation is there. And it can chew some guys up, but he had a good long career. He played 18 years. He's 16 of them here. Wow. Pretty damn good. It's exceptional.
Doing something right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And a good guy. We both got named ambassadors, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And really it's cool. A lot of fun working together like that.